No.
We've got this all fine. Where do you draw the line between triggering people's fear with alarmist, exaggerated rhetoric? And here I'm sort of putting words into your mouth because this is what you might say of some websites, including some of the information that we report, and legitimately informing people so that they can take their power into their hands because they know what's going on and they are therefore better equipped.
Now, I'm not saying that reading about them or watching this video is worship. What I'm saying is the attitude with which you hold in your mind as you read about this is so important. If your attitude is, oh my gosh, it's all looking cloudy and gloomy and we're screwed and these guys have got us over the barrel and it's a foolproof plan and it's never going to be defeated, that's when you've lost it. However, it's very important to educate yourself about the fact that they exist. And the reason why is, same thing that you read in Dale Carnegie's book, Winning Friends and Influencing People. Everybody on death row says, well, you know, they deserved it. The people I killed deserved it. The mass murderers. They don't say they are evil. Everybody rationalizes what they do. So they are nothing more than a projected, exteriorized reflection of what fundamental imbalance there is in the planet. Somebody's got to come down here and do that mirror for us. And that's the job that they have, and it is a sacred responsibility.
And that goes back to what you were saying just at the start.
Yeah. They are quite literally here to be our teachers. They are here to show us the parts that we don't want to see. And so when the best way to study about the Illuminati is to realize how the negative self-talk that they have and the way that they rationalize everything they do is something we all do. We all do it.
Okay, and I think that's fine, and that's absolutely legitimate what you're saying. What is important is to talk about sort of the arc of learning, the learning curve that people are going to go through when they encounter the notions of evil and how it manifests, whether, you know, through the Illuminati, through people they know, through the, you know, what they recognize in themselves as the dark side, the shadow side. Basically, there is a curve, okay? In other words, people need to be made aware of a lot of the secrets that are going on. I mean, that's what Camelot is all about. Our premise is once they become aware, they do go through stages, okay? Fear could be one of them. But there's no reason that people have to stay in one of those stages. There has to be a recognition. There has to be an understanding of the kind of fear that's possible, and then a movement beyond fear to something beyond fear that involves awareness of your own power, awareness of, you know, of the light and you know, the Godhead, or however you want to term it. I mean, basically, there's an evolution that you can't ignore and you can't avoid in each of these people who's going to go through awareness of these things.
Yeah, I like that quote, fear is an absence of knowing, right? Mm-hmm. And so fear is a call to study. It's a call to knowledge.
Absolutely.
It's a call to know what you don't already know.
I mean, if you talk about concentration camps being built in this country, it's almost ludicrous, because what you're actually not recognizing is, and I've talked to Bill about this in the past, which is basically that people are already in prison. They go to work 8 hours or longer every day. Their minds are, you know, numbed by the television they watch when they get home at night, and then they go to sleep. That's it. You know, most people's lives are completely managed, and they allow this to happen. They're walking through their lives. So why put them in a camp when they're going to rebel? They actually might wake up if you threw them into a camp. But the fact of the matter is they're basically like sheep. Now what's happening is they are waking up. Okay, and we at Camelot hopefully are part of this process. You are part of this process. The internet is an incredible tool, and has linked up the universal mind in so many ways. All the connections are being made. Young people are waking up every day. I mean, it's an amazing power.
Okay.
But at the same time, to say that the idea of prison camps has any kind of bearing on people's lives, I mean, it's ludicrous on a certain level.
I want to ask you two a couple of questions here, because not because I'm representing a diehard view of my own, but because it's our job between the three of us to represent questions that people watching this will have.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, pardon the euphemism, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Okay, here we go. Now, I have not physically seen these myself, but I'm reliably informed by people I trust that these prison camps exist. They're not a fiction. There's something going on here. That's just
Daniel told me that the
one
superdomes,
example.
superdomes in every city which were designed for that purpose, and that's what they used in Katrina.
And that could have been a test for that, etc. Okay. Secondly, we have been told ourselves by sources who reported to us privately that as far as they are aware, certain bioweapons have already been deployed. We don't have all the details, we don't have all the dates, we have some of the locations. This is the kind of thing that's completely unverifiable because you can't see it. You can't go around with a movie camera and film a virus moving around. It's almost
right,
like...
but you can maybe shoot the sky and see the chemtrails, and certainly that's a great way to distribute.
Whatever they may or may not be. But here we're just
There's
talking
a very
about
interesting point on that.
what some people say is another scare. In our essay that we wrote, at the time it was the best information we had, called 2008, The Future Is Now, where we laid out in the most intelligent summary way that we could what we felt the threats were. We debated them. Is Planet X real in terms of a threat?
Now
I'm
not disagreeing with the fact that they may be building some prison camps.
Facilities
Yeah,
exist.
okay. Let me put this into a soundbite.
There are factions with all kinds of notions about what may happen in the future. You have to say, why are they building? Maybe panic is their big, fear.
Yeah. The prison camps seem to be real. The deployment of bioweapons seems to be a reality according to information that we have privately received from several credible sources. It seems to be real that there is legitimate cause for concern that there may be an attack on Iran with God knows what knock-on effects that are either calculated or uncalculated. It seems to be that there are things to be concerned about and that we should responsibly make ourselves aware of. And at the same time, you're saying that if we give into this and start focusing on this and we start putting a lot of attention on this negativity, then we're actually falling straight into the trap of disempowering ourselves because we're falling into the Illuminati agenda. That's my putting words into your mouth. So
right.
Where do we make that balance? Where do we draw that line? Do we say, there are no threats, everything's cool, everything's fine, there are no bioweapons, flu's not going to get me, I'm not going to get nuked, all my money is going to be safe in the bank, I can live in an earthquake zone and close to the coast and nothing's ever going to go wrong with the geotectonics of the world or the rising sea levels and everything's cool and there are no problems. I don't believe that, and very few people listening to this now will say, everything's cool, because everything is not cool. If it's not cool, what is it?
Well, everything is interconnected, and the biggest secret of all, to me, is the extent to which individuality is an illusion.